I'll click live now.
Yep.
We are live. And comments. Beautiful. Show comments on stage.
Oh.
Welcome, everyone. Stage 18 of the Tour de France. This is the business end. Jethro here with Tom McCracken. We are the hosts of Roadside Cycling Podcast. Tommy, we're 18 kilometres to go in this stage. And first climb of the day, it is kicking off.
Yes, welcome. The Queen stage, we're finally here. It's been a sort of a drawn-out process, hasn't it, to get to this Queen stage, but as expected, it's absolute fireworks from day dot. We've see Lenny Martinez just absolutely fighting to hang into this breakaway at the moment. Only on the first climb, mate. It's fireworks everywhere. Roglic is going. UAE, they're chasing. Felix Gall, he's in the box seat. He's putting Bruno Amaral to work. It's on. It is absolutely on.
It is. Look at that situation we've got on the Pro Cycling Stats up on screen here. That front group, I'll scroll down. There's a few groups on the road, but Wellens is there. Jorgensen is there. Aronsman. Roglic chipped away. That's the big move of the day, I think, so far. That Roglic going ahead of the group. And then the second group, we've got some other breakaway hopefuls. Plapp, Rodriguez, Castrillo. Pablo Castrillo's been pretty good. And then back to the peloton, which UAE are controlling.
Yeah, they certainly are. The onus is on them. We all knew this was coming. And we've spoken about it, haven't we? We've had some good discussions about the strengths of the two different teams and how, I've kind of been like, no, I think Visma are a stronger team. And I think, largely put to that because UAE, they're missing Almeida. Just a really key piece that they can rely on. And, I think that's given the edge to Visma. And we saw them on Ventoux, didn't we? They played it perfectly, didn't they? Putting riders in the break and bringing them back down and keeping the pressure on Pogaćar. Where tonight, this is a big, big challenge. This is I was not expecting this. A really big challenge to UAE to see whether or not they can control Roglic in this move.
They have to. They have to. Well, I think. I don't think you actually need to control Roglic. I think that's going to come down to Onley, to be fair, because they've got 10 minutes to Roglic, but Onley is probably going to be the one that might need to think about his top four position right now, with Roglic coming with a lot of steam in this final week. But for Visma, Tommy, this is where Visma, today's stage, is where they need to throw the kitchen sink, particularly on the next climb, which is the Col de Madeleine. They need to throw the kitchen sink at Pogaćar if they want to win this race. Because if Vingegaard is going to drop Pogaćar, if that is to happen, he needs more than one stage to do it. He's got a 4-minute buffer to try and take back, and they've got to throw everything at UAE on today's stage, don't they?
Yeah, they certainly do. How do they do it though, mate? What do they do? They've obviously got a couple of riders in the break at the moment now. Enric Mas, he's being caught from the Pello. He's maybe paying the price for his work the other day. They've got Matteo in the break, but they've got Tim Wellens in there. He says it sort of counters that. They don't have the numbers in this move like they did on Ventoux, do they?
No, they don't. But at the end of the day, it comes down to Pog versus Vingegaard. And, what did you make of Pog and Vingegaard on Ventoux?
I loved it.
Did you think that there was any chink in the armor from Pogaćar, or did you feel like he had Jonas relatively covered? Because there were a few people that were, maybe Pogaćar showed a little bit of weakness there.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit. There was a lot of talk that he was coming off some sickness, a little bit of a flu floating around. As you're just fixing your microphone there, good time to do it, my friend. No, look, and then Pog, I did not see him get out of the saddle to respond. There was a lot made of that on the feed, and a lot of talk around him. He's got possibly one of the best seated power efforts going around, and he just accelerated onto Jonas every time, didn't he? And I thought Bridie O'Donnell made a good call. She said that maybe he's hurting in that arm. Maybe it's really starting to get to him. I thought last night was the battle or the night before rather, on Ventoux. That's the battle I've been expecting this whole Tour de France. I think what Cadel was able to do on the time trial, both time trials for that matter of fact, was just incredible. But I think, and even Hortocam as well, But I think, last night was the battle that we were expecting at the start of this year's Tour de France. Maybe that's Jonas is just, missing a few percent, my friend, and maybe sort of saved his biscuits for this third week. But at the moment, it counts. He's on the back foot, isn't he? He's, like you said, got to throw the kitchen sink at it. At the moment, they're not in a good position to do this, though.
On that climb? On Von 2, do you think do you think Pogaćar was bluffing? Because I reckon he was actually playing his cards very close to his chest. I don't think Pogaćar was in difficulty at all. You mentioned him closing down Vingegaard's attacks in the saddle, nose breathing on a few times. And there was the moment where Vingegaard was able to counter Pogaćar after he attacked. I mean, there wasn't much in the counter, but, I think Pogaćar was just playing it cool, and I think if he really wants to stamp his authority, Pogaćar, I think he could do it today on the Madeleine with a big counter once they are all isolated.
Yeah, absolutely. There's still so much to play out on this stage, isn't there? We're the first of 3 massive climbs here. We've got the group going across to the front group. So this is the front group, rather. Oh, no, this is the group 2. Yep. So this group's trying to get across. So he's got to get across. He's worried about O'Connor jumping him in the overall standings, which I think is a bit ridiculous. Ben,
is that right?
I don't give a stuff about the top 10. They want
he's
to
got
stage.
A 7-minute buffer, Tommy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's got a 7-minute buffer. So O'Connor has done really well to get in this break. We have to say, really, if you take away Plappy's great time trials and his individual performance, and maybe Ben's third place on stage 4 or 5, Jacob had a stinker.
Was second as well.
Yeah, Murray Schmidt was second, but it was that was a real.
Well, I think they're really missing Eddie Dunbar, mate. They're really missing him. Dunbar came in; he was in really good form. He had a great ride at the Dauphiné, and he was going to be a really key helper for Ben, and he was also going to be a really key asset to try and win a stage. Plapp so far hasn't really shown that he's at the pointy end of the big mountain stages. Tonight could be a great opportunity. I think the climbs suit him as well. So you've spoken about how good a form he is. Tonight could be his night. He's able to just sit in this second group, get towed along, and maybe get to the front.
I think he's trying to help Ben on this particular stage. He's definitely not for these types of mountains. These are too long for Plappy, but I'm sure he's trying to get across to give Ben some help on the maybe on the plateau. But Roglic, I like seeing Roglic. He's really coming with a bit of fire this last week. We've seen him on the screen there. He is in Group 1. He attacked out of the peloton to get across, and he's sitting in 5th place at the moment, Tommy. And like I said, I think back in the stage 7, I said he would be coming for Remco's podium spot. And I think with his experience, today's stage and tomorrow's stage, Roglic could make his move for that podium spot.
Wow. You reckon you're riding the Rog?
He was waiting for Lipowitz, his teammate, on Von 2. So I think, I feel like Roglic is coming with a lot of fire. I just read that.
Yeah, it's a great shout to that. It is Cadel Day, isn't it, my friend?
Favorite memory of Cadel, Tommy?
Favorite memory of Cadel? Probably the don't touch me moment. He's in the pits. He's riding for Lotto, and some journos come up and grabbed him, and I think he's in yellow maybe for the first.
He's put the teddy. He's put the teddy on his shoulder and trying to push it on his shoulder, and he was so frantic in that moment. You have to go and you look that one up. Or what about if he said he'll don't touch my dog or I'll cut your head off. That was a classic. Yes. He was a highly strung man, and I tell you, how funny is this? I've got a story about Cadel actually. So Cadel was he was hired by Channel 9 for the Olympic coverage in Paris, right, to do the special comments for the mountain bike and the road races for the men's and the women's time trials as well. And his manager contacted me and said, "Hey, Cadel's really nervous about doing the commentary for the first time. He doesn't follow the mountain biking scene anymore. He doesn't know the women's side of the sport very well. Can you write a full notebook special on all the races, all the riders?" And
because you intimately follow the women's and the men's mountain biking scene, don't you? You're across that.
I am across the mountain biking scene, especially was back then, main sponsor Whoop. But anyway, so I put together this 40-page document, right? And I put it together. I spent hours on it, like days on this thing, right? And I sent it across, and then his manager goes, "Hey, here's Cadel's personal details. You send it to him yourself because this is a work of art." And I was like, "Thank you," because I spent a lot of time doing it. I send it to him, and I get no reply. No reply for days.
And then the boomer thumbs up.
No reply. And then he messages me the day before the very first event. And it's been like, I sent it to him 2 weeks prior. And he messages me. He's like, "Hey, Jethro, thanks, mate. Awesome work. It was in my spam account. I've just opened it up now and I'm having a read." And it was like 3 hours before the event. I was like, man, I spent 2 weeks on that. So Cadel, he is a bloody legend, but he was getting married for the second time. He didn't have time to research any of that shit. And in the end, he flicked the mountain biking roles to someone else. I think Scotty McGrory did it instead because he was too nervous to do it.
The old scooter, hoovered it up.
Yeah. He's a good man, Cadel.
Cadel probably on-sold your notes as well to Scooter. Probably a few euros on the side as well. That's what I would do.
Well, it still wouldn't have been as much as I earned.
That's a good yarn. That's a good. I like that.
Cadel. 14 years. That's how long.
Yeah, Mandy. I'll put this in. I've figured out how to put comments up. Look at that. Mandy is on the money 14 years ago.
Good.
Did you stay up and watch the Paris when he rolled through?
No. I wasn't. I started watching cycling the year after Cadel won the Tour. That was when I started to watch cycling. Yeah, as we're seeing a bit of vision on the screen here. Plappy getting a rain jacket early. So the weather forecast was actually quite grim a couple of days ago. It has improved, but nonetheless, the top of those mountains, it'll be absolutely freezing. I believe they go up to 200 meters of elevation today, Tommy. Of altitude.
Yeah, just listen to what Pog's saying here.
He looks relaxed. Pogaćar. He looks very, very relaxed. Yeah, he looks good, but it's interesting to see how he raced. He's been racing defensively, hasn't he? In the last week. And
I reckon he knew he could take time on Jonas in the first 2 weeks. These climbs suit Jonas. We all know that. He's been done on Courchevel, on the Col de Loz, multiple times by Jonas. And Jonas, he's had hard days on the bike, but he hasn't completely capitulated on any day, maybe bar the time trial. Jonas is still very much in the fight. You have a bad day, you lose a minute or two, and then tomorrow becomes even more important. And the pressure mounts on a team that's, potentially on the back foot. So even today, your man, Macca, David McKenzie, in the coffee promo that we love, he said Jonas is going to win today, and he also turned around and he said Jonas is going to take time on him.
Yes, I think the old Jonas had Pogaćar's measure on the longer climbs, but I think these days Pogaćar has Jonas covered on these days. But we will see, because this is closer to Jonas's top form as opposed to last year when he got, he was wiped to the floor like an old rag. But what do you think about this comment, Tommy? What do you say to that, mate? From no comment?
Yeah, no, bang on the money. Absolutely. No, I love it. It's a great shout. Like, at the moment, to not have a stage, and I think you could, we spoke about it just earlier. Schmidt was second on the day Abrahamsen won. Platts had a go on the TT. Benz had multiple goes in the breakaway. Probably been in breaks where Schmidt or Platt needed to be in, where he should have been saving his biscuits for this sort of stage. He's been too active. There's been a little bit of sickness as well, but the sprint side of the team has ultimately failed to deliver as well.
Groeneweggen's best result this year's tour is 12th.
Take the results, but take the results out of it. You look at it from purely, how they went on that day, and you could even look at last night. They were really early in the lead out. There was a lot of stress, and then they get caught behind the crash. But they were so far behind the crash with Groenewegen that he rolled through once everybody was already down. So there's question marks over that. But it's funny with sprinting. It only takes one day where you get lucky, you get it right, and then it's the big pressure is released.
There's no more sprints, so it's too late. The boys should have won. Groenewegen should have gone home really after this year's tour. He's obviously not coming here in form either. He's been terrible. He's been absolutely terrible. Maybe he's already checked out because he is leaving next year and he's the highest paid rider in that team. And Troy, you're right, mate. Jayco will need to recruit well, particularly if Groenewegen is departing, because they will need a sprinter. And that is a hole that will need to be filled on their list, mate, won't they?
Yep, absolutely. 1 second.
I wonder who it could be too. That's the question. I mean, there's not many sprinters left on the market. We saw Welsford get tied up. Jayco missed the beat there, and Ineos will taking Sam Welsford. Who else is on? Is anyone else?
Maybe Viviani, who is over at Lotto. But you're very much, well, not washed, I dare say, but just he's getting a little bit old. So it's an interesting one at the moment. Like I thought they were going to go harder at the Sam Welsford option. I thought that was a genuine prospect to bring in someone who is a very good sprinter who can deliver a couple of stages throughout the year. Something who possibly could better what Groenewegen's done this year, I dare say, or at least someone you could build around and go, hey mate, we're going to bring you to the Giro, and as long as Miller's not there, or maybe even Milan, like we should probably be able to get a stage or two. So. Yeah, I was really surprised by that. I don't know who else is out there. The market for them, I think, is getting a little bit slimmer and slimmer.
Oh, it's slimmer, right? It's absolutely slim pickings. It's an interesting one. I reckon Sam's we're just on an ad break too as well, just everyone just joining us. But I reckon Sam would have went pretty hard as management at a Tour de France start, because he's only been to the Tour once. Remember, he went with DSM and they absolutely fucked up every lead out they did for him and left him with no chance at all before I think he left midway through that tour. Remember that? Tommy did that big presentation about the DSM lead out at the Tour de France Sunday.
Oh, it was the first one we did, and you pumped it up. You pumped it up like you were presenting it to like the sponsors or the commercial partnerships. And I was just sitting there just going, this thing is going to capitulate. They've got a young sprinter digging cold for the last man.
I lay it down on the law, but
you do.
Back on screen now. We've got 110 Ks to go. Everyone join us here. Tommy and Jet from Roadside. The peloton are meters away from getting over the top of the first climb, the Col de Glennon, and then they will descend towards the Col de Madeleine. The break situation, about 2 minutes to our front group here, which includes Roglic, Ben O'Connor, and sort of the team helpers from UAE and Jumbo Jorgensen, all talk, no walk, and Tim Wellens as well. So that is the situation as it stands.
This is a nightmare scenario, I reckon, for a lot of the guys in the breakaway who want the stage. They would all be having a few cheeky words to Primoz and a few dark glances at Felix. They would just be a little bit discouraged. They go, mate, what are you doing here? Come on, piss off. You're racing for him. We don't want you here. Yeah, but they don't want them there, mate. They do not want them there. That's why UAE are riding. They're riding because it's, Felix, he's 14 minutes down. They're obviously not riding to actively defend yellow on that, but they don't want this whole uncontrollable fight to break out over what we've seen over the Col de Glennon and then obviously onto the Madeleine next.
Well, I think it works for UAE. It works for Jumbo, actually, because I think if UAE weren't pacing here because of Roglic and they're just defending the jersey, if they weren't pacing, Visma would be pacing and ramping it up, because Visma need to make this stage hard if they want to beat Pogaćar, and that is the death certificate for the breakaway. The breakaway can't win on a stage like this the way the GC's set, because Visma are going to need to absolutely obliterate this race on the second climb at the very least.
You think they're going to go the breakaway on?
They have to. They absolutely have to.
Why? Talk me through your synopsis of why they need to do it. Oh, Wellen's got a bike change here. Little mechanical for the Belgian national champion.
Yeah, that's fine. That's he'll get back on the cars on the descent. There's only 600 meters at the top. Well, the reason why is that if Vingegaard wants to win this race, he can't leave it to the final climb to beat Pogaćar. We saw on Von 2 days ago that he couldn't drop Pogaćar on one climb. It can't be done. He can't do it. He's not strong enough. So why would he leave the race to the final climb, the Col de la Loze, when he knows that Pogačar's got his measure if they race for one climb? So if he really doesn't care about second place, like he said in the media, then he has to throw caution to the wind, light it up, make himself vulnerable on the second last climb, and then once they've battled it out once, they can go again on the final climb, Col de la Loze, and then perhaps that is the opportunity where Pogaćar loses time to Vingegaard. I don't think so, but that has to be the strategy, Tom, for Visma, if they want to win this race, if they truly don't care about second, which they shouldn't, because he's already come second twice before, and it's worthless if you've won the Tour.
I can't see Pog cracking that hard. I can't see him. I think you could see him only. You could eke a minute out of him.
You've got to try though, right? You can't hurt them for trying, and they can't just.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is the strategy. So if they really want to win it, they've been all talk, no walk. So if they really do,
whoa! No, they've been trying. Trying.
Well, there's been a lot of talk, but not a lot of walk just yet. So
there's been so much walk. You're off the mark.
There's been Vingegaard has been walk. For the rest of the team, there's been absolutely no walk. In fact, no team cohesion at all. Wout's going for breakaway stages. So is Campenarts. They're all going for breakaway stages. They're doing everything but helping Visma. And look at Martinez. He wants
Little
that
Lenny
out jersey, doesn't he?
Oh, he's got that dog in him, doesn't he? Little Lenny. He is up for the fight, isn't he? Oh, look at the misty mountains behind. It is going to be cold through the valleys. Yes,
Troy. The spectators, mate, they go up there often the day before to get their good spot. Sometimes you see the tents and things like that on the corners, but a lot of them ride up as well. The times before, as Plappy was seen on screen, he's just trying to get that jersey done up. He will be cruising right now in this group, and he knows for Plapp, he needs to be on it for this descent because he'll be off the back very quickly. So he's got to be switched on here.
Not the best downhill, is he?
No, he's not. He's working on it, but
yeah, absolutely.
There's no real demons in that group with Plapp, is there? In terms of descent demons, you've got who's he with? Michael Woods. Well, he won't be getting dropped off the wheel. Michael Woods. He used to be one of the worst descenders in the peloton. He's got Will Barter, Jordan Jagat, Alex Bourdon. So can they make it across, Tom? I think they've missed it.
They're in no man's land. They've been sitting around 50 seconds for quite a while at the moment, my friend. Oh, I think they would be, if you're there and you're Plapp, you'd be sort of almost regretting it to a certain extent. You'd be saying, why didn't I jump earlier? Now, this is a loss. Pavel Sivakov going out the arse on the first climb. That is a big loss before Niels Pollitt, the big German. He has been massive in this year's Tour de France. This is the smart move by getting Tim Wellens up the road. Having a rider up the road for Pog is just so essential. Just, if he loses one or two other riders over the next climb, having someone up the road, particularly before the final climb on Col de la Loze, it is slightly longer valley. Got to have someone there. Got to have someone in the first half of that climb at minimum.
It'd be interesting to see how they use Tim Wellens in that front breakaway, because as much as Jorgensen is a great satellite for Visma, Wellens has just been one of the, like Pollitt, an MVP of this year's tour. Pollitt's had a lot of time on the TV, but I don't think he's had the perfect performance. I think Navarrez and Wellens have been the best of Pog's helpers so far. But they're on the descent now. It's 107 Ks to go. Welcome. This is the roadside live commentary. We're watching along at SBS. Troy says Plappy is hiring a camper van after the tour, driving across to Spain to do San Sebastian. Interesting. I would be surprised if Jerry just hooks him up with a little Jayco caravan for that trip. He gave him one on his block of land he's got in Bright, actually. He's got really just a couple of sea containers there, Plappy, while he's sort of saving up to build a big castle there. But in the meantime, with those sea containers, he's got a Jayco caravan just sitting there beautifully, thanks to Jerry.
That's bleak, just rocking the caravan. Can't even get a little tiny home on site.
Mate, he spent all his money on the property. Let me tell you that. It's an absolute behemoth of some land out there. So the great man, he's setting it up very, very well.
How would you go on one of these descents, mate? How would you go?
I was just about to ask you, mate. Well, I did 3 peaks this year, mate. It started off with a 26-kilometre descent to the top of Falls Creek to the bottom with about 2,000 other Garys, and it was absolutely crazy, mate, because you've got all these bloody grifters coming up the inside of you, braking with the all front brake, no line, taking no racing line, no apex. They're just coming up the inside at 60k an hour, and yeah, it was a bit carnage, mate. I saw that many crashes, and I thought to myself as we're going down, I said, lads and ladettes, we've got 220 k's to go. Oh, look at this!
That's just stupid riding from the RKO rider. That is just he's got no business riding there. I don't know, but he's got no business doing that. He's out of the front group.
Is this Jorgensen?
No, that is Leknenson, and it is Garcia Perina.
The yellow helmets. See, that's the thing. That's what happened to me at bloody 3 peaks, mate. He's probably looking at his back wheel because he's probably got a bit of a wobble on that wheel now. He seems a little bit concerned, doesn't he?
I'd be concerned. Slight little wobble on my wheel. I'm doing 70 kilometres down a mountainside chasing. I'd be very concerned. A little bit of patchwork as well. The road. Thankfully, it's dry at the moment. Looks like just the jackets are. Oh, he doesn't look too comfortable, does he? Maybe he's got a slow leak.
He may have a puncher. He may have hit hit a spoke. Piano may have hit a spoke with his wheel, so perhaps it's just out of true. But that's the last thing you want to be thinking about on these alpine descents. I mean, you go on 70 clicks. There's no barriers, as we can see here on the coverage. If you go over the barriers, you're down there for good. So, geez, yeah, not good.
So your grand design today, if you're on the bus, you're telling Visma to light it up on the Madeleine.
Yes. Yeah, I think when we get to the base of the Madeleine, I think we're going to see Visma start to ramp it up. Because UAE can hold this pace all day. They're not going to be that fast with anyone in that breakaway. They're not fast about Roglic, Gall, Jagat, and the other group. They know the other teams will start to pace if they ever become a threat to their positions. It's the way it works all the time. 7th chases 6th, 6th chases 5th, 4th chases 3rd. It always happens.
Yeah, it certainly does. Yeah, everyone tries to defend their position overall. I'm interested to see who's going to do the work. Who's going to do the work in this front group now? With maybe Amarai out the bum. Or maybe sapping the legs. Who is going to do the majority of the pacing on this? Because Rog, he might be riding for GC. He'll get lent on very quickly. So with Felix, those guys have got to be really careful not to go too deep in this stage.
Sarah Gigante may well fly the flag for the Aussies in France this year. Absolutely, she will. I think the GC is. If she could ride the bunch like her compatriots, not compatriots, her competitors, she could win the Tour de France Femmes, but she just can't do that right at the moment. She can't ride the descents. She can't ride position at the front in the tricky stages. But I think she's a good chance of winning the Queen stage of the Tour, which gets a little bit safer with bigger gaps between riders. But Sarah's going to be, and we will have an audio diary. This is a special exclusive for you guys here listening, with a rider, an Australian rider for the Tour de France Femmes on her debut, Lucy Fitchus, who is a sprinter classics type, who's racing for St. Michel, a preference home, Auburn 93. We're going to get already audio diaries from her each day of the tour. So that'll be very interesting because Lucy is a rider who she's got a massive ceiling, one to look out for sure.
Yeah, she's great. She is, and so young as well to be making her debut. Really keen to see how she goes. I think she'll be making her debut alongside Emily Watts as well, another Australian in that team. Yep. But you're right, Gigante, stage win at the Giro. I think she was on the podium as well. So
she was on
really
the podium.
Interested to see how she goes at the Tour. Like you said, that the bunch could be the problem, couldn't it, for her?
Yeah, if it was just climbing watts per kilo over climbs of 30 minutes and above, she's top four, top three watts per kilo in the world. As we see Plappy, he's off the back from the group. And for him, just keep riding, Keep riding. I don't think he's going to get to Ben, unfortunately. What do you think Ben would be happy with O'Connor today, Tommy? What do you think he would be happy with on this stage?
Oh, stage win, mate. Stage win. Absolutely. That's their mindset. And that's ultimately what they came here for at this year's Tour de France, is to get a stage or to get a good GC placing if they can. So, yeah, he's been in the mix a few times. Hampered, had a little bit of flu injury as well from crashing. So, I think he said today in a pre-race presser with SBS, he turned around and he said, to win at the Tour de France, you got to be amongst the best in the world on form as well as just, paper as well. So that reminds us the level at the Tour is just so high. It's so different to other Grand Tours. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. And you look at the quality that he's around in this group tonight. Even Arnsman and Roglic, obviously, and as well as Felix, they're sort of the big other name climbers who he's going to be up against. And we've seen how good Arnsman's been this year. So, but I dare say he doesn't really care that much about a GC result. If there is that opportunity maybe to be in the top 10, I think that's very much an afterthought. A stage winners, what they're here for now.
You only have to be a couple of % off, don't you, for you to be really nowhere at all. Connor might have been missing 1 or 2% coming into the Tour, then maybe you dropped another couple with that crash, and all of a sudden you're 31 minutes back on GC. So it's just a game of percentages, isn't it? The margins are so thin when you look at the top. So yeah, it's going to be. Hopefully he can grab something from these last few days. Lenny on screen, Martinez, 99 Ks to go. He's got to work so hard to get this jersey, doesn't he, Tom?
Well, he's doing it so well today, hasn't he? He's got the first points on offer. He's got to get tonight. He's got to get the Madeleine, and then he's got to hope Pog doesn't win the stage.
That's where it all goes wrong. That's where it all goes wrong, as he's getting a bit of. Yeah, he's got dropped on the flat here.
Really dangerous. Maybe he's going to throw the towel in.
Well, I'm just going to bring up how many points he's actually on here. So if I check out his points, so as it stands. Oh, hang on.
Platt makes it back to the group, I believe.
Yep.
Get this jacket off, Luke. Get it off that sail. Yep. Yeah, a lot of wind around as well today. So conditions will be pretty challenging. And I don't know, I haven't looked at it too closely, particularly with the breeze on the final climb, but it could be one of those days where if you do get a rider up the road, satellite rider into sort of either head crosswind, you can make inroads as a GC rider, can't you?
Arnsman is the rider who's closest to Martinez for the polka dots, and he's at the start of the stage. He was Lenny Martinez was actually just taking the jersey on loan because Pogaćar was in it. So now with those points he's taken over that climb, he goes into the lead. So. Yes, for now. But Aaron's been up there as well. Spinnaker, yes. Spinnaker, the Sail GP in January, Mandy. I'm sure you'll be going to that. I'll definitely be there as well. Tommy, you and your dad might be there, mate.
Yeah. Wander down. Maybe get down to Gauge Roads, sample some of the finest. That's on offer, then head across. I'm interested to see a little bit of Sail GP. The America's Cup is pretty strong connection to, obviously, Fremantle. Thanks to the great late Alan Bond. So, yeah, Fremantle's known for having regattas. They've had international regattas there in the past as well. So bring it on.
Yes, very good. You'll
be down there, mate.
Polo, mate. That's what I'll be doing. So, looking forward to the corporate box, the corporate boats.
That's on loan, isn't it, mate? From the father-in-law, is it?
No. I'm a member of the race team. 97 Ks to go. That doesn't seem like that long, doesn't it? When you hear 97 Ks to go, you think 2 hours at a sprint stage. But, gee, they've got 2 massive climbs to come. They are around about 10 kilometres from hitting the base, the Col de Madeleine. And I'm really interested to see what Visma will do. Look at the peloton, Tommy. There is nobody in it after that first climb.
You know, when we were watching Pog say a few words in the presses pre-race, and he just looked cool, calm, collected. Polar opposites for the big boys. Polar opposites. They are just doing the numbers. They're crunching the numbers throughout the whole stage. They're concerned about the time cut. How fast is the race? How hard are they pushing over the top of the first climb? And you're talking about like guys like Plapp descending there. The Gruppetto will be absolutely nuking down any climb that they go today. In the valley, full gas chop off. The time cut is very real for the Gruppetto today. If this gets raced, if this continues to get raced at this pace, where they're not letting the break take 5-6 minutes, then time cut it'll be close. It'll be real close tonight. And I love it. I love always seeing a close time cut. I think it's highly entertaining. To finish in the green jersey, you've got to finish.
I was listening to Brad Wiggins and Cav. They were doing a little bit of a pod together on Bradley Wiggins' new podcast. He started about 50,000 of them. And but when he gets Cavs on, I always listen. And he was talking about the change. They were talking about the change of the stage 21, Montmartre stage, as we're on an ad break at the moment. And how for the sprinters, that's why you drag your fat ass up over these climbs, up over the Pyrenees with the lure of the Champs-Élysées stage win. As Cav said, that is the stage. That is the one that is worth everything. If you win 5 stages, like he did many times throughout the Tour de France, he always remembered number one on the list was the Champs-Élysées stage, which he won 4 times over any other stage when he won at the Tour de France. So that has now been removed. So these sprinters, but particularly those who aren't Milan, who just needs to finish to lock that green jersey up. Those sprinters like Grooves, he's going to be thinking, this is pointless. Why am I even getting over these climbs? Because there's nothing for me on the other side of them.
Well, it favours Cadel, to be honest. He way better climber. He was in one of the first moves of today's race on the first climb on the Glenor. So for Cadel, if anything, he'll finish ahead of Gruppetto. I have no doubt. So if anything, a faster race for him suits it. And this is why there was a lot of talk, particularly from Wout on the time trial stage, where a lot of big sprinters would have missed the time cut because they weren't able to go fast enough up the hill, or maybe they rode to the adjusted time cut. But you can't. The UCI and the ASO, the juries, they're just so flippant with what they want. They control the race. They control the commercial aspects. They can do what they want. There's no one to answer back. And Wout wasn't happy because Wout would feel a lot more comfortable sprinting if there's no Milan, Melier. It still won't make it any easier, but it's not going to make it, coming against the biggest riders there, so to speak. So,
well, who are the biggest riders, Tommy? I'm just looking them up now as you were speaking.
It'd be Kazani. He'd be one of the biggest.
Spare a thought for the big horses in this race, just hauling the big carcasses up these climbs. The biggest is Jonas Rickard, 88 kegs. He's getting up there. Milan, 87 kilos.
Then you've got up there as well.
Burger, the big boy, 83 kilos. Gradek is 83. Jonas Roosh, Laurent Rex is an 82 kilo. Fedorov 80. Geordie Moose, the Moose Man, Affini, and Pollitt all 80 kilos. So those boys there, spare a thought. And then the lightest is Guillaume Martin at 55 kilos. So, geez, where's Lenny Martinez? He can't be more than 55 kilos. No way.
He'd be around that paddy punt areas as well. Little Valentin, who won on Ventoux. What a ride that was as well. He would be one of the lightest riders.
Lenny and Parapanta are 52 kilos each. I couldn't see them because they're that much of an outlier.
Gregor Mühlberger. Just back on screen now. Young Mühlberger, the Austrian. A little bit of an off. Sort of the first crash we've seen on camera today.
Yeah, well, it makes it tough, doesn't it, with the coverage, because they've got to allocate motorbikes to each of the groups, and we're really on board with this first group here as Wellens just misses that corner. But we haven't seen much from the GC group, have we? We've only seen that one helicopter view, but when we get onto this Col de Madeleine, we need to see that GC group right away.
Yeah, you want to see that. I'm curious to see the front of the race, and I'm curious to see, they've only let them have 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes 45. Are they going to be able to get more time out of this? And what's that affecting, obviously, with Roglic as well in the overall standings? He's taken 2-3 minutes on GC. It's going to move him up.
Well, PCS is reporting at the moment that Jorgensen, Arensman are up ahead. I think Wellens might have been there, but Wellens, as we can see in this group before. So Jorgensen and Arensman trying to get ahead of that race. They've got 20 seconds, Tommy. So Arensman wants the stage win, and Jorgensen, he wants to be there for Vingegaard.
Arensman wants poker points as well.
True. He's virtually second.
He is quite eager for that. I think he senses an opportunity. I think he rare as well for him to, for that team, obviously coming here with GC riders of Rodriguez. So that'll be one to sort of just keep tabs on. But that time,
Lenny's in Group 4 now. Lenny is in Group 4 now, so he's really made a big error.
He's thrown the anchor overboard, hasn't he?
He's thrown it. I think he just got dropped on that false flat part, didn't he?
I think so, yeah. And it can be so easy, so simple. You lose the wheel, you lose contact, and then there's 100 meters. You're not riding 100 meters back at 60 kilometers an hour unless you're really giving it something, or you're going and grabbing a little sticky water bottle or two, potentially.
Nibali style.
Oh, wasn't that something? Hey, I think that popped up on my feed quite a while ago, and it just, the blatancy, the disregard, I just loved it. And you see everybody in the group just throwing hands at Nibali as his cars just pulled him across.
Hey, what did you think while we're waiting for the still to descend, 90 Ks to go, Peloton, 2 minutes 50 in arrears to our front group, which has Roglic, has Arensman, Wellens, Jorgensen, O'Connor. What did you think of the battle online between Johan Brunel, the famous director of Lance Armstrong's 7 Tour de France victories, asterisk, versus David Lepantiant throughout this week? They had a bit of a stoush, didn't they, Tom?
Yeah, they did. For everybody who doesn't know, Johan Brunel has basically like the black tag of like, you're not allowed to come near any bike racing. You're not allowed to come to the tour. I think he can do a little bit of media work, but I think that's going to be sanctioned. And he sort of rolled in and did some stuff for some Belgian TV. And Daniel Benson as well, a very esteemed journalist, he chimed in as well. And because the threat from David Lepantiant, the UCI president, was that you're in an area that is not a crowd access area. You're above just being a punter at the race. You're being involved, and that you're blacklisted for that. And yeah, it was a little bit of a war of words, Johan, wasn't it? He's come out and blasted the UCI president. And it just looks like it's just got something that's going to kick on.
It looks like two old foes, like Shooter McGavin and Happy Gilmore, how they just hate each other they've probably forgotten why. And Johan Brunel actually had a point, because there were other people who had been convicted of doping and banned during their career that are still around the bike races. Forget about the DSs, etc. There are people there that are still involved. In fact, the winner on Ventoux, Paripatre, actually got a photo with a previous winner who won a Ventoux, who also had a huge doping history. I can't remember the name of the guy, but somebody pointed it out on the internet. And, it just does reek a little bit of double standards. And yes, Troy, you're right. The Tour de France did give him a media pass because he was on the TV show, the Viva de la Velo, which is, I think it's a Spanish Tour de France show that he was on. And, yeah, look, it's just the UCI. They don't get everything right. I'm not saying that Johan Brunel should be there, but the fight is very interesting, and it's extremely petty. It's extremely petty. They're at each other all year.
Bygone era.
Yes, it is. They just all need to go to bed.
And David Lepantiant's just an absolute. There is no love from the professional ranks.
No, he's a flop
towards him for what he's done for the sport. None whatsoever. So. Yeah, very much a political player. Now we see Arnsman and Matteo Jorgensen push on with it here. They've got 30 seconds over the break, and the break is just slowly eking out to that sort of 2 to 3, or that closer to the 3 minute mark, isn't it now, mate? What do you make of this here with Matteo?
I don't quite get what Jorgensen's doing here. I don't understand what the point of this is. If he's obviously there. No, he said this is the day where Vingegaard needs everyone to help him win. He's there for Vingegaard, Matteo Jorgensen, right? That's the reason why he's in that front group. But he's just wasting extra energy for what? To be 30 seconds ahead of the second group. Like at the end of the day, Pogaćar and Vingegaard are going to come to them. Like, wouldn't you rather sit in that group of 10 or 12, save more energy so that when Vingegaard arrives, you can do more rather than spending energy here just to be a little bit further away? Like, it doesn't make any sense why he's doing this. He's helping Aronsman for no reason and just wasting energy like their team has done all Tour de France. They've wasted energy on themselves except for wasting it for Vingegaard.
Wow, strong. You're not a fan, are you? You know, need you in the car at his Melissa bike, don't know, my friend. Maybe he's just trying to get up the road a little bit. Maybe this was just...
He is up the road, Tom. He's up the road already.
I didn't see how he got up the road. I didn't see if it was a full-blooded attack or they just rolled off the front. If he's up here for having spent absolutely no biscuits, then yeah, great. He's there. He's chopping off. He's the one who wants to do the riding. He will pull. If he's ahead of Roglic, it makes Roglic ride.
Roglic.
They want to try and I dare say he is, mate. He's in this group and he's contributing.
Why would Roglic ride for Jorgensen?
Jorgensen being out in front, I just think that it's just going to put more pressure on Decathlon here as well. Puts the onus solely on Bruno Amarai here, who's doing a mountain of work, doesn't it? This is what Visma want. Visma just want to ensure a little bit of tension amongst every group. There's no one taking soft pedals. That is literally the only thing they can do. And I don't think they're going to crack Pog anyway.
Well, they got to try, but this is not what you do. You have Jorgensen sitting on the back of this group here with Wellens. He just sits on the back behind
that would be
Wellens.
A smarter play.
Wellens is doing the right thing here. Sitting at the back, conserving energy. The energy he wants to spend is when Pogaćar's on his wheel. Jorgensen, what the hell is he doing? So it's just bizarre stuff. It is really bizarre stuff. But it is good to see here Decathlon. They've left no stone unturned chasing that stage win, haven't they? Amarai with his teammate there.
Felix Gall, they're going for a high GC position. That's what they're all in for. They've ridden a smart race, haven't they? They've just bided their time, waited in the wings, ridden Felix to where he needs to be and backed him in.
Well,
they've had a, it's a very, it's not going to stand out by any means, but I think they've played to their strengths.
Yes. Well, I think they'll be disappointed if they don't get a stage win, but it is interesting that this week they are getting, they announced their sponsorship for next year. Tommy, we thought it was going to be L'Oreal, but apparently that deal fell through. So Decathlon announced their sponsorship for 2026, starting on January 1st. The team will be named as Decathlon
Dog's Breakfast.
CMA CGM. So that is...
logistics, shipping.
Logistics. Don't go on their website. It's an absolute terrible website. But we're seeing the peloton, Tommy. They are about to hit the base. Col de la Madeleine, 19.3 kilometers, 7.8%. I climbed this on Zwift the other day, actually. It's a pretty regular climb. Doesn't kick up too much above 8%. So I'll give you the tip there, mate.
How fast? Well, actually, how slow were you?
It was in the 1 hour somethings.
Here we go, the bin chicken.
Oh, no.
Turminada, he's done.
Get that gel, mate. He needs a paella. The big bin chicken. So Eric Mas out of the race. That's right, Troy. He didn't look good a while ago. He didn't look good from stage one, did he? Unfortunately. That's a bit of a miss. That's a bit of a miss for Mass as we see Aronsman and Jorgensen, no Goodson, wasting energy out there. And who has gone on attack here, Tommy? Raul. Oh no,
he's out the arse, my friend. He is definitely not. He's going one way, and it's not the right. This is it now. The break, like you just said, I really think. Now, what I said rather, Decathlon, they're tightening the screws here. Bruno Amarai, I think he's only going to get halfway up this climb. Go all in. Try and get Felix across to that group if you can, to the front three. front two riders. Maybe take Roglic, O'Connor as well. And then that's going to be the selection. This stage is absolutely flying by. There's been no respite anywhere, has there, my friend? If you're in the Gruppetto and you're getting fed this information, you'd be so concerned.
You would be. Yeah, they're turning it on. And this is seeing the peloton now. Martinez, he's getting swooped up. Probably hasn't. He's not going to like the situation with Arensman up front, but let's just see how you here are looking. Sivakov is back there, Tommy, but he looks like he's about to pull off. They've still got Pollitt. They've still got Soler. Navarrez is there as well. Where is Yates?
Just there on the left. So I've got some numbers. I do have some numbers.
Simon Yates is there for Visma. Kuss was there as well. So Plappy gets caught. Jagat gets caught. Let's see what Visma do. I think they need to take this climb on. They need to take it on now. Otherwise, they're just basically happy for second place. They're going to need to tighten it up, Tommy. And here we go. What's this? Wow. Straight to the front. Good. He wants to lift this pace.
Well, they're a bit disorganised here. They've got to be able to get on the wheel. He's just getting a feed. You're so just rein it in. Keep a lid on it.
He will. They'll start to wind it up. They're getting their fuel because they're about to do a huge effort, guaranteed.
We will see. At the moment, UAE pacing them stronger than what I thought. To be honest, I honestly thought that with the way the race has been ridden, Pollitt has just proven how good he is. Narvaez, be interesting to see how deep he will be able to go today on a big climb like tonight.
Yes, he's in his best climbing level ever. Jonathan Narvaez, the Tour Down Under champion. He's been fantastic. Mandy reckons Kuss has been best climbing domestic this far in the Tour de France. Interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Domestic.
I think he was there for Jonas. He's been, the last man there for Jonas, where for Tadej is a little bit hit and miss, and he's been sort of set up a little bit. Like when we saw Narvaez launch Pogaćar, he's only ever done that because he's gone, this is my limit, this is where my race finishes. So
he has been good.
Yeah, I agree with that, Mandy. I think you're on the money there. How long does Pollitt last? Pollitt looks like he just wants to wrap it up. Pollitt, I reckon he's doing the numbers in his brain, and he's just going, I reckon I've got 20 minutes over Gruppetto. And he will finish down in Gruppetto.
This is why he gets paid €500,000 more than he's worth, because he's here doing this instead of just cashing the check and punching the ticket in at the base of the verse climb. So, yeah, we're seeing the climbing, the Mountain Jersey classification. Martinez, 80 points ahead of Arensman, but Martinez, he looks like he's going out the arse very, very quickly. So Arensman really in the box seat if he could go over the top. And look at Jorgensen. What is he doing?
He looks $1 million. He looks $1 million, mate. Tynan, he is swinging. He's got the shirt open. He's hurting young Arensman. I wonder how much. He's just cool, calm, collected. He looks $1 million, Matteo.
He's not going to do one pedal stroke. One pedal stroke for Vingegaard. He'll go straight past him with a puff of air. Jay Vine. They could have used. They could have used Jay Vine this year. Tour. Troy. No comment. Groeneweg's off to Unibet. Yes, that looks like it could go ahead. And with the Intermarché and Lotto merger, that will take one team out of the equation for the Pro Tour contracts. And that would leave a potential wildcard slot open for Unibet if they can just get a few more points. So I think they've got their eye on that merger if it does go ahead, which it does look like it will.
It certainly does. So he I don't think is too happy with the changes.
Who's that?
Because Binim Grimet. So Binim Grimet, where he's at Intermarché at the moment, he is happy because the management have his back. They give him the leadership, the sole leadership, and he's very particular about that. So he will want to go somewhere, or if the team evolves and changes, to be still the sole leader. That won't be the case merging with Lotto. You got Arnaud Delis and a few other riders there as well. Yes, Boost. It just won't happen. It'll be shared leadership where he goes, particularly with Arnaud Delis, like very similar riders. So I reckon, I really do think Binim Grimet is on the transfer market, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him land at maybe Astana as well, taking up a spot where someone like Groenewegen would have landed.
Well, they've inquired about him as well. Astana have inquired about Binim Grimet, and I tell you what, he's had a pretty shit season, Grimet, hasn't he? He's done next to nothing. He's gone missing, Mr. Grimet, and he's not a great one to be looking for other teams as well. But no doubt he's a very sought-after rider if he does move. The rumours are that Harper's off to Q 36.5. Yeah, that looks pretty good to me. I think that's a pretty good signing, to be honest. Good for Harper. Hope he gets a nice bump.
Is it?
He's made the most of his career. Well, he'll probably get a little bit of a contract bump. I reckon he would be on low money at Jayco.
Going to a pro team. Doug Ryder will haggle for every cent, every dollar. Every time Harper wants air in his tyres at a race, Doug Ryder will charge him for it.
He's not earning less after winning a Giro stage win, a Grand Tour stage win in the first time of his career. He's not earning less, Tommy. There's no way, mate. There's no way.
You're only ever paying someone what they can do for you in the future. I thought
that's not how cycling works, mate. That's not how pro cycling works. There's 70% of the peloton get paid more than what they're worth, as we're getting a shot of Gerrans in the Cervelo test team winning his first Giro stage. They love to just pump up Gerrans tyres, don't they? Speaking of pumping tyres.
I love the email thread that would have gone. That would have been, hey, Simon, we're going to roll out these packages. Can you send us through your most favourite wins? He would have dived through the archives, found the footage on the tape, sent it to SBS.
Oh yeah, he would have found it. He did well. Simon, he had a good career, didn't he? In an interesting era.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we're getting the stage 10 Vuelta. This is the Gero show. Forget Plat de Tour. This is Dessert by Simon Gerrans. There he is, the great man.
I do prefer this than the cooking segment. This is considerably better. Oh, the ages of dual podium girl.
Yeah.
Cycling, different era.
Oh, this is...
He dusts up Sagan. Yeah. Sagan on the wheel, wants to step off. Sagan in the iconic liquid gas kit, Slovenian national champ. Can't get there.
Onto the coverage, though, Tommy. I'm just noticing here, Pollitt looks like he's almost done. And then it's back to Soler. Is that Sivakov there? I think that's still Sivakov. Yeah, but now we're seeing Pogaćar. He is now sitting behind Visma Lease Bike. So I think Visma Lease Bike are ready to mobilise as soon as we leave as Soler. Soler's now moving up now. So they're trying to maintain control.
Pollitt's done.
Yeah, Pollitt's finished. Sivakov looks like he's about to collapse. And Navarrez and Yates are now sitting behind Simon Yates. So perhaps Navarrez and Adam Yates are not feeling good, and that's not a good sign.
Bloody hell, Adam Tour is... I like this. I will throw this up on Mandy. We like that.
I actually do. Tommy. And Mandy, have you been to his restaurant in Perth? I didn't know he had a restaurant in Perth. I actually do want to go and check it out. So let me know if you've been there. As this is Soler. He is on the front. And, geez, it's an interesting formation, isn't it, Tom? We've got Soler, Wout, Pog, then Benoot, and then Vingegaard.
Well, yeah, he has to. Tadeo has to sit third wheel there. Otherwise, Visma would probably just cut it. They'd just cut the engine and just let him ride away. And just stir the pot a little bit more. That's what they've been doing. So
I think Pog's going to launch. And then they'd
say that again.
I think Pog might launch, mate. Why is he riding there? Why is he riding there? He doesn't need to ride third wheel. He could just sit back a little bit further. There's no reason for him to ride there. Honestly, I think he might be thinking about going because it looks like his teammates are gone, right? Adam Yates looks like he's riding at the back with Navarrez. When you get down to no defense, your best defense is then offense. I think he might be thinking about launching, going, stuff this. He might catch Jorgensen because Jorgensen's riding for himself again. So, Tommy, this is just... yes. Twin and under. Good call, actually. O'Grady is over at the tour. This is how much money is in the South Australian Tourism Commission budget because O'Grady's over there on a big gravy tour for the Tour Down Under. I mean, he wouldn't be the only one either. So there's a lot of money being spent getting these corporates over there, isn't there, Tom?
But Stewart would be over there. He's over there with what Mama Pro Cycling, which is a... I don't know what it was. I just know it's a traveling cycling immersion experience. So he runs that on the side. So I dare say he's over there, and he would combine that as well as pitching to the teams. Obviously, it being a world tour, double dipping to a race, all the teams have still got to come. But he's definitely trying to obviously pitch and talk to the directors and saying what riders can you bring. And try to encourage them. That's the key thing. Try to get the big name riders to come down, because that's the hard selling point.
Got to go off that money, and the SATC does have plenty of it. We're benefactors of that, aren't we, Tommy? In the January region, where the invoices are.
Oh, we certainly are.
Many digits, right? And the double dipping is triple dipping. It's called Guillaume. It's in Crown. Okay, I didn't know that. I'm going to check that out, see if they've got some good stuff on the menu, because we've definitely got some good things to... Oh, there's always nice things to celebrate, Tommy, but we're up to 81 Ks to go, mate.
Who wins the stage?
Pogaćar wins, mate, but I think let's not talk about the end result. Let's talk about how we get there. Do you think Visma are going to do anything on the Col de Madeleine, on this climb they're on right now? Okay.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, but I also just think that they will wait for the final climb.
But is that enough? Is that enough to win the race? Waiting to the final climb? Why would they do that?
I don't think they need to try and win. Obviously, they're going to try and win the race, but mate, they've just got to get themselves back in the game. If they can grab a minute, and I'm talking a minute, back on Pog, if he loses 4 minutes and it's even Stevens at the end of the stage, that means he has just had a day to forget. And I don't think he will have that sort of day today. So their best bet is to try and put him under pressure. And, there's a bit of descent over the Madeleine. You've got a valley road, and then the Col de la Loze. The upper slopes are hard. Just bide your time and wait till the final climb.
But is it
put the pressure on the Madeleine, though?
Doing it early? Because if you're doing it on the last climb, like I said before, like they tried on Ventoux, it did nothing. They couldn't get away from him. It was only one climb. I think they need to do what's worked in the past and induce a lot of fatigue on Pogaćar. That's when they've cracked him, when they've created these super high kilojoule days and made Pog work and work and work until he's fatigued. Not let him sit at bloody Niels Pollitt's pace up the climbs and then try. They're not going to do that. It'll be fresh as a daisy. So
they're not going to be pulling just absolute peelers up the Madeleine, but they're going to be setting a cracking tempo, which they are now. This is what I thought they would do. They would just ride that really hard pace where you're not comfortable.
Well, 12.9 Ks to go on this climb, Col de Madeleine, and now Visma are taking up this pacing with, looks like Wout or maybe Benoot on. It will be Wout ahead. So then we go to Benoot, and then we've got Sivakov and then Pog in the line. Campanart's probably not going to be able to pull. Kuss probably. So there's plenty of workers there for Vingegaard. That's a good position to be in.
Yeah, with my man Mateo up the front.
Wasting energy.
He is going to be BOG today. You watch out, young man.
Useless, mate. He's spending too much energy. Jorgensen's an idiot, mate. He's an absolute idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. I bet his team manager is screaming at him. He's taking out the earpiece. But look at Wout. He's pulling a big turn here, Tommy. He's not there.
Isn't he do something else, eh? Or Onley.
Oh, no.
Warren.
Wawa.
He's a bit washed.
I think he's well past getting the dropped shot. Santi Petrago gets the shot as well. Wawa Bagil hasn't done much in a long time. Yeah.
Hasn't it been a disappointing tour for quite a lot of teams at the moment, though? 15 teams haven't won a stage. This team here, Israel, they put a lot of energy into yesterday's stage with the sprint team that they have, same as Jayco. Desperation starting to set in now, isn't there?
Ray Charles, Troy. I think that's who's doing the strategy for Visma. The great man, Ray Charles, was looking after the strategy. No comment. Vingegaard, Pog, then Lipowitz, Healy, top 10. Is that for the stage? Interesting. Vingegaard hasn't got the better of Pog all tour, and today's the day. So interesting call. Yes, Patrick from Lantern is head of strategy, but maybe I understand that's a bit more of a external strategy with signing riders, scouting riders, and then placement of riders as to where they race and which races they go to. I think that's what Patrick does as Wout has swung off. And the pace, Tommy, it ain't slowing down on this climb, mate. They are lifting as Benoot is picking up the pace big time.
Yes, Tish. What an impressive ride, though, by Wout. How strong is this core classic squad here to be able to do this with these sort of guys? Even have Victor Campanats there as well.
Victor has been great. Yes,
incredible. Him and Tim Wellens have just been phenomenal for their respective riders, respective leaders. Kuss, just sitting in the background. He looks cool, calm, collected. Well.
Oh, geez, the mouth is open there. They're working hard here, mate. I think they are starting to turn the screws here, everyone. So we're going to see some action very soon.
Oh, we are.
Open.
No, we're not. Not very soon.
I think we will very soon. Campanats isn't going to pull for long. Not at this pace.
Big Victor, he'll go. He'll go and go, mate. He hits the reset. He hits the lap button on his head, and he just keeps digging. You watch. He is bloody good, yes. And Mandy, he has been on the vlogs as well, and he's been on the socials. Big Campy does a great job of it. We love to see it. So who wins?
No, I told you already, mate. Pogaćar wins. He wins.
You're doubling down. Okay. Bad news for the breakaway. This is looking all over for the breakaway, isn't it?
This is what Visma have to do if they want to try and win this race. And there's 11 kilometres left of this climb. Like someone who's done it virtually, this does not relent, Tommy. It does not relent. So, it's a tough one. There's plenty of Ks left for them to do some damage. And I'm wondering, mate, we haven't seen anything from Kuss and from Simon Yates. They're sitting behind Vingegaard. Will they come towards the front? At any stage, or are they maybe they're not feeling that good?
No, they're going to buy their time, mate. They're going to buy their time until Col de la Loz. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they get over with, obviously, say, Kuss, Yates, and if they could carry one more across for the valley, that would be sensational. But it's a long way to go, isn't it? 11 kilometres here for Tish Benoot. I think this group is just going to get whittled down, and it already is. It is a small group at the moment.
It is, and Vauquelin is getting distance. He's sitting in 7th in GCs behind Goal. So Goal virtually moves up ahead of him, as Roglic jumped him the other day. So Vauquelin now. Oh, is it towards the back? And how are these riders looking here? How much time has Benoot got left? I reckon he's got 1.3 kilometres left.
That is why that is incredibly precise. If you get that, I'll buy you breakfast. Big Kevin here.
You owe me a few breakfasts, mate. Victor is a TT rider, so big FTP. Well, he is. He's got a big FTP, Troy, but he said in one of his vlogs once that he said his FTP is not that big. It's around about 395 watts, but it's because he's so aerodynamic. That was what made him such a good TT rider, and he was a rider that embraced many aerodynamic principles before the modern peloton did, and that's why he was always winning TTs or doing quite well early days. But then the peloton caught up, and all of his mini gains, weren't as good. So then he switched to being a bit more of an all-rounder rider, which we see to him doing these days. And yeah, geez, he's been very, very good in this year's tour. Best climbing level I've seen of Campernuts, Tom.
Yeah, same. Yeah. I've never seen him climb this well for such a solid unit. He is just getting over climbs. Like he was influential that day where Simon Yates won from the break. He was, sort of drove it right when they needed someone to just drive the race. Bruno Amarai, very good little sticky bottle. He just wants to stay in contact here, doesn't he? He's a wily old fox, old Bruno. He knows exactly what he's doing. Too. It'll be 15 degrees and he'll say it's a hot day and he'll just be going through 3 bottles here.
He's getting dropped. So Ben O'Connor's looking good. Yes, those aero lids. The aero lids are gone. So breakaway is at 2 minutes 20 to the Peloton Yellow Jersey group. 78 Ks to go, Tommy. We're about to hit the last 10 Ks of this. And Roglic now driving the breakaway. I was close with Tiesj Benoot. 10.9 to go. They are going to launch Vingegaard well into this climb. They're going to launch.
It's on here. It is not far away from the simmering point. I don't know if they will. I think they'll just... Maybe they've got Matteo still up the road as well. The idea is they're just going to be floating around. This is the first real look we've had of our breakaway in quite a while as well. Roglic, Arnsman, Felix. Those 3 riders, they're the ones who just need to be lent on. If you're O'Connor here, you've just got to try and do as little as possible. And now Matteo, he's heard your words. He's sitting down the back. He's biding his time at the moment now.
He's getting dropped. He spent all his energy on a meaningless breakaway, and now he's out the arse. So well done to Jorgensen. He could be very useful at the front here, launching Vingegaard, but instead he's chasing personal glory. So we've got it. So hearing from Visma, we'll do it well at our pace. 25 guys left in the group. Really good. Come on. So good feedback there, and I'm sure they edited the part out where they slapped Jorgensen for being selfish. So Yates moving up, Tommy, in second wheel. That means we're getting close to the business end.
Yeah, we are, aren't we? We are. I'll have to buy you a beer there next time if we do see the Great Dane unleash. Hasn't this tour taken some scalps this year? Hasn't it just carved through and really unleashed a whole new GC battle, hasn't it? Where we've seen other riders come to the forefront, like Onelli. Mass, he's gone out the arse this year's tour. And he's in trouble. He's in problems here.
Good for Ben O'Connor if he wants to get inside that top 10, hasn't he? He's starting to falter. He's not a GC rider, Healy, so I'm not surprised that a mountain stage like this is causing him a bit of a challenge. There's a changing of the guard of the new GC riders for sure that's coming over. Your Masses of the world are disappearing. Your Thomases are disappearing. Roglic is on his last legs at 36, and your Onleys are coming through. Maybe Vauquelin as well. Johannessens as well. I think they're going to be sort of the new age. But let's make no mistake. There's no Remco here. He's out. Almeida would probably be sitting in third place right now. It's a thin GC group at this year's Tour de France.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's something that you got to keep tabs on. It's ever evolving doors, and I think it's why it's been so impressive to see guys like Roglic, Thomas, how they've just been able to be there for so long. This is getting hard.
I love Roglic. I knew he was going to come good at this year's tour. I just bloody knew it, Tommy. They call me the Oracle for a reason. He's 36 years old, and he just manages to just turn on when the race needs to be turned on, as long as he doesn't fall off his bike. And he is driving this breakaway, and he wants to get that podium. He's racing for that podium, isn't he, Tommy?
Yeah, he certainly is. He certainly is. I dare say he would also have a little bit of an interest in the stage as well today. If he's able to get a little bit of a head start on this final climb, depending on the DC battle behind, but it's already under 2 minutes, isn't it? That is just lightning how fast they've just carved off a minute. And as soon as Felix lost Bruno out of that front group, the decathlon helper, no one there to really just solely take up the pace and ride the front. But the onus has fallen to Roglic. Your man has picked it up.
He is. We're getting some nice close-up shots here of Pogaćar. He's on the radio. The mouth's open. Vingegaard, mouth open, but looking pretty good. I have to say, Tommy, if I was asking as Johannesson gets distance here, he needed an oxygen chamber the other day. He probably should have stayed home. We'll go on home after that. But if I had to say who looked better out of Vingegaard and Pog, I would say Vingegaard looks a little better than Pogaćar right now, mate. What do you think?
Yes, I would. I'm in agreement with you. But Pog, when you know how good he is at just suffering, doesn't, and fighting till the end. I think he learned a lot that year. He lost the Tour de France to Jonas, when there was the year where Roglic and Jonas ganged up on him. So I think he's just learned to try and manage this and try and bluff his way through. You know, those days where Froome would get to the top after Quintana's attacked him a couple of times, or Contador, and he was, I was really on the limit there. But he couldn't tell. I think Pog's just picked up that little bit of.
We just lost you a little bit there, Tommy, but Keno just said the same. Jonas looking better than Pogaćar. Yeah, he looks better, doesn't he? Campenarts were just on the radio before as well. I think he was saying, I'm just about cooked here. Yatesy, time for you to take over as Wellens is now coming back to the pod, Tommy. Geez, I'm not sure if you'll be able to help Pog here. He's... let's see if he can stay with this group. But look at the size of it. There's basically nobody left in this group so far. And Simon Yates is about to turn up the screws.
Yeah, Visma would be disappointed here. UAE rather, they'd be disappointed that Wellens, if he can't get over this climb, they really would have liked to have kept him there for that valley to try and ride in between the two climbs where, 8K, 9K to go for Wellens. If he can get over this, I'd be really impressed. But I don't. Geez, he's up against it. And Visma, if anything, they'll see the fact that they've caught him. They'll ride a little bit harder to try and get rid of him if they can. I don't think you think he gets over?
There's 8Ks to go. There's no way because they're riding hard. And he'll try. I think 8Ks to go. Geez, if it was 3 or 4K to go, I think Wellens gets over the top. But I mean, they're going to catch the breakaway over the top of this climb at this rate, the way they're going. It's a minute 27. They've taken a minute's gap in less than 2 kilometers. So that breakaway is absolutely doomed, Tommy, once they launch.
Yeah, they've got to be able to get that separation, don't they? I think tonight's climb, it's not going to be as close as what we saw maybe on Ventoux, where we saw Pog and Jonas. I think we might see a little bit more stop-start today. Rather there where, it was sort of just ridden full noise for Jonas. And then sort of he was unleashed and he was close enough to the finish line where he could sort of stay on the pedals, keep the chain tight. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's just a little bit more stop-start, so the break might have a little bit more of a chance. Maybe if you're Roglic, Arnsman, maybe not even Roglic, if you just Arnsman or O'Connor, someone going solely for the break, that might be their only opportunity.
Yep, no, good call. 75.5 Ks to go. Welcome to everyone who's just joined us. Tommy and Jed here from Roadside Cycling. The leading group, the breakaway, has Roglic, O'Connor, Jorgensen, the Selfish Man, and Arensman, Rubio, Felix Gall, all in that front group. And Alex Bourdin, isn't he having a great tour? They are 1 minute 40 ahead of the GC group, which Visma are starting to turn the screws. It looks like they are trying to make this climb very, very hard. Pogaćar has Navarrez, Soler, Adam Yates, Wellens with him. Vingegaard has Campenarts, Kuss, Simon Yates with him. Vingegaard, just at a eye test, Tommy, looking a bit more comfortable than Pog. This is the first time we've kind of seen Pog with his mouth open. We see he's got pink lips. That's the first thing I noticed. He's got very pink lips. And you don't usually see them because he nose breathes, as Campenarts is really squeezing the lemon here, isn't he, mate?
Yeah, he's tightening the screws. He's going all in at the moment. He's got a couple of kilometres left. Give me the kilometre mark that you think he's going to pull off, mate.
Beautiful. Little signs there. Right, said Fred. Yes, you can.
That's
he's got the double jersey.
That's mum and dad on the side of the road, the Yates clan.
Nice. He's probably thinking, look, he could have come at the end of the stage.
How good is that?
Yates,
we talk about a bit of financial coverage. A few each way bets. The family for the party in Paris, they're covered, aren't they? Each way bets either side. They're going to a good party, aren't they? The folks.
Both of their sons earn probably about €7 million combined, so I don't think they're too worried about making money. I'm sure they're doing very well as Amorite starting to fade from the GC group. He's falling through the groups now. Pogaćar having a little look back as well at the back of the group just to see who's left in this group. It's really starting to heat up now, Tommy. You're getting I'm getting a bit excited, mate. I know you're just under the weather there, but you just must be bubbling at the thought of Visma launching your man Jonas, the fishmonger, as they call him.
Yes, I'm keen to see the Great Dane be released. We'll see. He's still got 3 riders out in front of him, Pog. He's got 3 riders right behind him. It's a bloody GC sandwich tonight, isn't it?
So Lipowitz is there, Onley is there, Johannesson, is he still in that? That's him there. And then at the back, 2 swingers, Stora having an absolute swingathon with whoever that Astana rider is. That would probably be that's Higuita. I think that might be called Higuita. Rumour has it, Pog has just learned he can breathe through his mouth. Maybe, because he doesn't have the nose tape on. All the Visma riders are riding with the nose tape, which the way it works is it like sticks to your nose and opens your nostrils to try and help a bit more airflow. So maybe that 1%er is helping them today, Tommy.
You'd be the sort of operator who would use that on the bunch rides, wouldn't you?
No, because I want a full body aero sleeve, mate. That's why you wouldn't be able to see it. You would not be able to see it. 7.2 Ks to go on the climb, Tommy. The col de la Madeleine, they go up to 2,200 meters of altitude gained, which is pretty high. They climb up to 2,200 meters. I think the col de Madeleine peaks. So I'll bring that back to the top there at. I don't think it says. It doesn't say, but I think it peaks at 2,000 meters. So that's one thing that's kind of been a little bit subdued in the recent days, Tom, is the effect of altitude on the riders. If you remember 4 or 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, altitude used to be something that was really in play. It was a weakness for many riders. But these days, the riders, they do altitude camps every 3 weeks. They're so acclimatized to riding with lower oxygen levels that it's just not a factor anymore, isn't it, mate? Thanks to the workings of science and the application of that to their training.
Yeah, it's not. And much, a lot of the riders, they would hate it as well because it means that they've got to do more time away from family and such because basically go to the altitude and live and do the big block of altitude. Campanarts now we see he's done. He is absolutely shelled.
That's going
to come to a stop, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. We are getting into the business end here. And I have to say, Pogaćar is not looking good. He's going for another gel. He's just done a bottle drop. Pogaćar, I'm not sure he's looking too good. He's starting to look a little bit stressed and a little bit under duress. He's done the bottle drop. He's gone for another gel. I'm starting to get worried here, Tommy.
What do you reckon Simon Yates is going to be able to do? Where is his level at? I'm intrigued to see this. Can he reduce this group? Can he get rid of the other UAE riders? Simon Yates, Adam Yates, Kuss. And, Valles is still there. He wants to try and really reduce this. Well, he's putting the pressure on at the moment. This is, to be honest, this is just purely the GC riders left now. GC riders, domestic, the deluxe riders who are there.
There goes Higuita. I tried to do an interview with Higuita at Wollongong World Championships, and he didn't speak an absolute lick of English, as we're seeing. Soler getting baked out the arse. That's okay for Soler. He just needs to hold on, stay in contact. Same with Adam Yates. He doesn't need to respond to Vingegaard or a course. He just needs to be in the region in case Pog gets dropped to give him someone to ride behind. So don't blow up by trying to stay with the group. just stay in contact, that if something bad happens to Pog, you're there to pace. And Navarrez, I can't believe Navarrez. He's climbing. That is unbelievable that he is here.
Yeah, the level he's gone to this year, very impressive. I'm intrigued to see how he's done this. Florian Lipovic here as well. He looks pretty comfortable, just grabbing a bottle off to the side.
He looks okay. He looks okay. We're getting back to Roglic, O'Connor, Arensman, Rubio, Jorgensen, the selfish man, and Borden getting shelled there, and Gall as well. Jay Taylor, Poggy. First of all, he's racing with his mouth open, which we haven't seen really at all until Von 2 when Vingegaard was going full gas. He's doing a lot of bottle drops over the top of his head, trying to stay cool. I've seen him have 2 gels on this climb, which is about standard. Probably trying to have one every 20 minutes, but it's just stuff you don't see him doing. He looks a little bit stressed, versus Vingegaard, he looks much more in control. It's just not something we're used to see from the 2 riders. Usually Pogaćar, he seemed cool, calm, and collected all year round, as we've got the shots of Roglic really driving this breakaway, and looks like Ben O'Connor and Arensman are starting to feel it now, Tom.
Yeah, I think they are. They're feeling it, the effects of maybe just being in the break for a few days. Matteo, he looks $1 million, doesn't he? I'm intrigued to see when does he decide it's time to sort of either sit up and say, hey, I'm waiting for someone. And is Roglic waiting for Florian? Is Roglic riding for Lipovic? Is he in this break? He wants to try and get this move over the line and stay up the road to be a bit of a satellite rider for Lipovic.
Good call, mate. I love that. I think it's a great call. Roglic helped out Lipovic on the Von 2 stage without being asked to do so, so I wouldn't be surprised. But look at Jorgensen now. Jorgensen is driving this, and O'Connor, he's on the wheel as Kuss now. We're down to the big 3 here, Tommy. This is what I was talking about. 5.5 Ks to go. Lipovic trying to get on the wheel. Kuss is going to launch Jonas, and we've got 5.5 kilometers to play here.
Mandy said it earlier. Sepp Kuss, best climbing domestique at the Tour. On the money, he is just putting this race to the sword at the moment. This is good to see. I like this. I didn't think it was going to be lit up this early. I'll eat humble pie. I did. Yeah. I honestly thought that was going to be their play. Florian Lipovic, a couple of meters. That's going to feel like a mile. He just needs to get to that. He just needs to get to that wheel.
He needs to sit up. He's going to blow his doors off trying to follow this move. He's not racing for first. He's racing for his podium. Lipovic is making a huge mistake here. Onley is getting a nice tow from Adam Yates and Soler back in that next group, as is Johannesson. Lipovic might blow his doors off, because what's going to happen when Kuss peels off here? It's going to be Vingegaard exploding, and then he's just chasing them as well. So I think Lipovic has made a bit of an error there, but let's have a look.
I don't know. Pogaćar, he still looks quite comfortable. He still looks moderately comfortable. He's not going absolutely hammer and tong to try and hold this. I think he's riding at his limit, yes, but I don't think he's sprinting to try and get onto the wheel. He knows that he's got 5K to go. He knows he could fall off the cliff there.
In his mouth right now. You could fit a plasma screen in his mouth. He's going to go out the arse big time when they really launch here, Lipovic. But that's just a little bit of an experience as Roglic up ahead we're seeing driving this group. They look very evenly matched at this stage, the breakaway, Tommy, but they've only got 30 seconds. 30 seconds to break.
This is where it's been really smart riding by Felix Gall today. Felix would be out the back fighting with Oscar Onelli, and the fact that he's made that move with Bruno Amaral, who has been an absolute stellar domestique this year's Tour de France, and he has just been the one who drove that group. And now Felix is in a great position to profit from today. He's going to be moving up the GC today.
Yes, he certainly is. Vacolin faltering, Johannesson faltering. It's a very good call. I wish they would show the GC group now. We don't care about that front group. Show our leaders.
GC group. It's just a yellow jersey battle, isn't it? We've only got... Oh, here we go. Jonas hits out now.
Lipovic gone. Big mistake from him, and Jonas is going. Here we go. This is what we're waiting for, Tommy.
The Dane. He's unleashed. This is a big move. This is so early in the stage.
This is what he needs to do. This is what he needs to do if he wants to try and win this Tour. He needs to do this now and get some fatigue in Pogaćar's legs. He doesn't want to drop him here.
Nightmare scenario for the group header.
Tears for
the big boys.
Stuff there, mate. Jonas Rickard, the 88-kilo soldier. Forget him. His race is in the week 1. This is the real deal. Vingegaard's attack didn't have a lot of sting in it there, Tommy, did it?
It didn't. The Dane. He's like a big diesel. He just gets up. Yes. He made the EF rider look like he's standing still.
Pogaćar now looks like he's in cruise control. The Vingegaard's attack didn't last very long. Oh, no. I take it all back. Forget what I said. Pogaćar is cruising.
Yeah.
What happens with
I think it's a case of just Jonas looks really comfortable as well.
No. If that was his attack, he needed to be out of the seat for 45 seconds, full gas. I mean, that was not an attack of someone who's going to win this race. That was an attack of someone who's trying to win, but is nowhere near it. So this is going to be interesting here, Tommy. What happens with Jorgensen?
You're looking at once again to get a hold of Pogaćar. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of load. This is well played.
Now he's going slower. Jorgensen's now riding slower than what Pogaćar is, and Pogaćar's now getting the draft of sitting in the third wheel as opposed to sitting in two wheels. So it's not working very well, this technique.
The pressure's going on, though.
It is, but I mean, put it this way. If those 5 riders are still in the wheel while Jorgensen is pulling, then Pogaćar is resting. If those riders disappear, then Pogaćar might be in some duress. But as long as those riders are sitting in the wheel, Pogaćar's not really spending much energy.
Young Florian here. He missed the boat by meters, didn't he? He wouldn't have been there when Jonas went. He wouldn't have been able to hold the wheel. But the fact that maybe not inexperienced because he's not missing out on much at the moment, but I'm fascinated to see if Roglic sits up in the valley and gets him across. 30 seconds.
Well,
if there's 2 riders chopping off, they could chase because Jorgensen probably won't ride full noise through the valley.
Well, no, because he wants the stage result. But I think Roglic is in too good a position here. He's getting a free tow. Lipowitz just made an error. Just trying to hold on to, he flew too close to the sun there, but he will go back to that group with Yates and Soler, and they'll be motivated to try and chase back on the descent to these groups. So at least he'll have some allies there if he goes back to the Onley and Yates group. But Jorgensen is what's that wind doing? Bit of a cross tail, and Pogaćar's on the radio, Tommy. He's on the radio right now.
Good time to go to the break. Great time to go to an advertisement slot there.
Wow.
3 kilometers to go. That is
70.6 kilometers left in this race, though, around about 3 kilometers from the top of the Col de Madeleine. Visma took it up with about 9 Ks to go if you're just tuning in. They wound it up slowly. They started with Wout, then they went with Tiege Benoot, then Victor Campenaerts pulled a big turn. Yates pulled a short turn. Kuss wound it up, and then Vingegaard attacked about 15 pedal strokes out of the seat before going back in the seat. And Pogaćar, he was easily closing that down. And now we've got the combination of Jorgensen being able to help Vingegaard. The break has been caught. Ben O'Connor having a great ride, Tommy, as well, hasn't he? Sitting very nicely in that group and potentially launching himself well into the top 10 of the GC. So I'll get the virtual classification up on our screens while we're on this ad break. I'll go to virtual general here. That page should load for us there. Roglic moving up 1 place. So he's staying in the same place at the moment. Actually, no, Roglic moves ahead of Onley in the general so far as it stands. Gall has moved up to 6th place. Vauquelin losing his spot. And look at O'Connor. O'Connor, hey, he's a chance. He is a chance. With Healy going backwards, Jagat going backwards, Vauquelin going backwards, he is a chance of getting inside the top 10. A very, very slim chance.
Yeah, it's fascinating one for O'Connor. It's not something that he's going to focus on, though, to be honest. I think if it happens in this way and he gets over this climb and then it's a race up Cadel Evans, but I think he would trade the top 10, at least that sort of 8th to 10th for a stage. We're back with pictures. We still haven't seen a move. We're going to see one over the top.
Well, this is the thing. It's not working. This move has not worked perfectly because they need the pressure to be on the whole time. And I think as long as Jorgensen is pulling, there's no pressure, and
I think they needed one more rider in the breakaway, didn't they? Visma. They needed almost like a Yates now as well. They needed 2 riders to just be going absolutely full noise now. But that's a dream boat scenario. They're going to make do with what they've got. Jorgensen, he's still keeping the pressure on, which is important.
He is. You can see a bit of teeth grit from Ben O'Connor at the back there. Roglic looking $1 million. Felix Gall digging deep. So the pace is not easy by Jorgensen, but geez, look at this climb, by the way, Tommy. Doesn't it look beautiful? Just look at this thing.
Brute of a climb. Stunning scenery throughout the Alps. And the final climb up to Col de la Loze, the first time they're going to tackle it from the Courchevel side. So there's been a lot of hoo-ha about Pog losing time, but they're doing the climb from a different avenue tonight. So impressive to see Rubio still there. I think it does show that the pace isn't full noise, is it? If this group of 4 riders from the break, excluding Matteo, it's not hard enough, is it?
No, all they're doing is just giving Roglic a free ride up the standings. So it's not really affecting the status quo for first and second place. All it's doing is basically helping Gol and Roglic. And you can see the wind there is blowing at a different angle. So it's obviously blowing at Jorgensen's right shoulder. So the riders are fanning out just to try and get a bit of draft. So headwind, strong cross headwind at the moment. And they'll round the corner and they'll get a tailwind as they navigate that last 2 kilometres. You can kind of see on the screen there, it starts to turn a right and that wind will be behind them.
Yeah, it certainly will. Pays dividends, some absolute galah.
Yeah, you're not right. I think. Oh, there's that guy.
Yeah, it's for the Parkinson's fundraising. So he's there for a purpose, and he's standing out, isn't he?
He gets out of the way. That's what I do like. Not like that. That absolute flog that rode his bike across the finish line on yesterday's stage. We're getting some shots here of Lipowitz. He is in no man's land in the wind as well. He's in a headwind section here. Geez, what does he do, Tommy? I mean, Onley's 1 minute group behind with Yates and the like. What are they saying here? His teammate, don't look behind. You're doing well. You're doing well. Is that good
he's
advice?
Got to ride. He's just got to keep riding. He's in a scenario where he's going to try and chase on the descent if he can. He'll push it. He's a good bike handler. Roglic will sit on and sag a little bit. And if it is eased off over the top, I can't imagine Matteo going full noise through. I was wondering where Tien Arnsman was. He's just been distanced. He is in danger of going into no man's land. He'll be hoping for Florian Lipowitz to ride him back into it, won't he?
Well, he might be the ally that Lipowitz needs to get back to this group. If he can get up with Arnsman, and if Arnsman's got anything left on the descent, you always want someone with you. So we see the average speed for the stage, 34 kilometres an hour, and they've done, what have they done so far? 3 hours of racing and close to 3,500 metres of vertical gain. That is rapid.
Yeah, it certainly is. I've been prattling on about it, mate. The Gruppetto, there'll be some guys missing cut today, which is always fun to keep an eye out for. Fun to wake up in the morning and see how far down they finish, the boys. It makes me chuckle. These guys, they make it look so easy at the front of the bike race, don't they? There's a lot of work being put in here. Felix Gall, what do you make of his ride so far? I'm about it. He looks solid. Can he maybe move himself into a top 5?
Yeah, he's an elite alpine climber. He just can't do anything else very well. He can't do punchy stages well at all. He probably can't, sprint 600 watts or more. He's not good at positioning himself, particularly when it's stressful. So he's near on useless until you get to these sort of alpine stages, and that's when he really hits his straps, particularly at altitude as well. So he's shown so far. So he's one of those riders you kind of just have to wrap in cotton wool and get him to the third week within distance of that top 10, and he can try and win you something. But he's doing very, very well right now, climbing with the best in the world. Jay Taylor, yes, where is his team? Well, Pogaćar, Visma lit it up.
Good.
And if Almeida was here, Almeida would be in this group 100%. His level this year, Almeida, he would be in this group and nose breathing. But it was a big loss for Pogaćar, wasn't it, Tom, when Almeida had to leave the tour?
Yeah, it certainly was. Easily, we talk about how good Kuss has been. Almeida would have been the rival to Kuss, wouldn't he? He would have been the man for... and to be honest, I dare say he was almost plan B, wasn't he, for Visma, for UAE, rather. He was, if Pog faltered, got caught in a crash or the likes, then yes. Yeah, you can unhighlight that one, mate.
Yes, well, Cameron, funny thing is that the very first time I ever saw Tom McCracken, and we didn't know each other, it was the Collie Donnybrook race, and I was coming through the groups, and Tommy was coming back from the groups, and we sort of met at one group, and I think you told me off for having a drink.
I rolled off scratch.
Water on the front, and you called Gruppetto. You said, Gruppetto, boys, Gruppetto. And I didn't know what that meant, but obviously I quickly dropped Tommy. So you're right. He knows all about the Gruppetto, does Tom. And we're about to go over the top, aren't we, mate? 500 meters. What happens on the descent, mate? What happens here? Do they
We've seen in the
ahead?
past that they've raced each other in the descent in the past. We've seen, obviously where Jonas became unstuck. Pog nearly crashed before as well. So in previous years, they've raced each other on the descents. I can't see them pushing on too hard on this one, though.
I hope they don't. I hope they don't. Yeah, we don't want to. They don't need to be racing.
Yes.
Look at that hit. Wow.
Yes, I like this from Mandy. This is Mandy coming up with the statistics here. The last rider to win up the Col de Loz was Felix Gall.
Very good.
I like that. It was an interesting day that day. There was a big break, got up the road. There was a stack of Australians in it. O'Connor, he was there with Haig, and I believe Hamo as well. And it was a bit of the old Avanti ISO way boys. And there was some miscommunication from the team cars about who would ride, particularly the two French teams that were there with FDJ. They didn't want to ride because AG2R weren't riding. And then the three Australians, they put their heads together and they said, boys, we've just got to fucking ride. We've got to go. We've got to do this. And they did. And they, Haig had a crack at winning the stage. I think he was right up there. And then Ben was riding for Felix, and then Felix won the stage. So, yeah, the French communique was not there that day, except the Australian times. Yeah.
How's Pog going over the top, getting those points? Tommy, mate, your dinner's ready.
I need to go.
Your dinner's ready, Tommy. If you've got to bow out, Tommy, I can carry the stream on. No, you're not well. Tommy's done a very good job, everyone. He's been under the weather, so he's battling for all you viewers out there, aren't you, mate?
I am. My reward, where is it? It's down the end of the hallway.
It is. Okay, well, Tommy, you head off, mate, and I'll continue the stream for a little bit longer just to see what happens at the bottom of this climb. But Tommy, have you got any final words before you go and rest your voice box, mate?
Final words. It's going to be interesting to see if Pog can crack. I don't know if he's going to be able to be cracked. He's a classy bike rider. He's in a scenario where the reinforcements are going to arrive in this valley, because I think Visma don't have the numbers to push on with this, and I can't see Matteo riding from the bottom of this climb all the way to the base of the Madeleine, the Col de Loz rather. So when and where the reinforcements arrive for Pogaćar, it's going to dictate what Visma can do. He's got to try, doesn't he? The Great Dane. He's got to try again. So if he can take a minute, if he can take any time at all, I'd like to see that. Make the race a little bit more exciting for tomorrow as well.
Well, we're going to get a 1v1 on that final climb. I'm sure of it. But Tommy, mate, thanks for joining us. We'll have our Tour de France recap as well, won't we? At the end of the tour, instead of dropping tomorrow, because only a couple of stages left, we'll do a full recap of all the stages of the last 4 days and go through all the highlights and lowlights of this year's Tour de France once it's completed.
Yes, we will. Bring it on. We might even get a special guest on. Who knows?
Yes, well, we'll try. We will try. Tommy, mate, you bow out. I'm going to stay with this to the base of the climb, and we'll catch up with you.
Go well. I might jump back in. We'll see how we're traveling.
Okay. All right. Tommy has left the building. He's not feeling well. He's done a good job being out here for near on 2 hours. So stick with us. We'll see how we go. 64 Ks to go, everyone. This is going to be interesting. 64.3 Ks. The descent will take around about, it's about 25 Ks. So that should take them around about 25 minutes, I would say, maybe a little bit less. So the descent it's a chance right now for Vingegaard and Pogaćar to rest. All they'll be thinking about is recovery. They'll just be thinking about recovery for this final battle up the Col de la Loze. And it's a battle they've had before. We've seen it before. It was one where Pogaćar had a very bad day. But right now, we can see Pogaćar on screen. He's taking the gels in. He's preparing himself for that 1v1 on the final climb. And Troy, you're right here. It's not easy, and it is very fatiguing on the upper body. It is, but these guys are the best in the business. You know, they know how to descend, and we can see here Pog even taking up the descent, which is very interesting. So Pogaćar taking front position. Maybe he wasn't happy with the speed that Jorgensen was doing. Perhaps sometimes they use this as a defensive tactic, riders who don't want to go as fast as the front riders are doing. So they go and take over, set a bit of a false tempo down the descent and control the pace themselves. And you kind of hold position by sprinting out of all the slower points in the corners, like the hairpins, for example, and that keeps you in that front position. And then sort of using your position on the road as well to stop riders coming over. So maybe Pogaćar wanted to go a little bit slower, but we'll wait and see because we've got Jorgensen back on the front. So what do we think, everyone, after watching that on the screen, that Col de Madeleine, that last 5 Ks? What do you think? Was Vingegaard, has he got enough to drop Pogaćar? Do you think that attack took anything out of Pogaćar? Because to me, as much as it looked like Pogaćar was doing it quite tough on those final moments before Visma attacked, once Vingegaard launched, it just didn't have the sting we thought it would. What do you guys think? Let me know if you think Vingegaard's attack took something out of Pog, or do you think Pog closed that with ease? 62.5 Ks to go. Now, Mandy, you brought up a good stat earlier about the last person to win on the Col de la Loze. It was Vingegaard. Great call. Number of wins by the riders in this lead group right now. Pogaćar has 103 victories to his name, World Tour victories, of course. Roglic has 91 victories. Vingegaard, 38 wins to his name. Ben O'Connor has 10 pro victories. Jorgensen with 5. Aarons with 4. Of course, a stage win in that group as well. Lipowitz with 3. Gall and Rubio have 2 each. And I find this just amazing. The amount of top 10s that Pogaćar has, 237. So, and you forget how old he is as well, Pogaćar. He is 24 years old. I mean... When do riders peak these days? We don't even know, but he's 24. He only just stepped out of the white jersey contention in 2025 this year. So we've got many, many years of Pogaćar dominance coming in the future. And Vingegaard as well, who I think is only... Vingegaard, he's 28. So Vingegaard a lot older. Of course, he was later to professional cycling, kind of arrived in the 2019 era. Born on the 10th of December, 1996. So still in the descent, 59.5 Ks to go. Jonas was testing him. I don't know. It's pretty windy up there at the Col of the Madeleine. We saw that wind. You'd want to get separation from the rider you're trying to attack if you could at the top of that climb, because then your competitor is having to push into the wind and using a lot more energy. I think that's what Vingegaard wanted. He wanted to try and get separation so that once he was distanced from Pog's going to have to work in the wind, which we saw how windy that was. But Jonas, he's going to have another go. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. We're going to get probably, I would say we're going to get probably 20 kilometers of Pogaćar and Vingegaard 1v1. That's what we're going to see. There's just simply no riders left. And, excuse me, what about Roglic? Are we sleeping on Roglic? This man has, how many Grand Tours has Roglic got? Has he got 5 Grand Tour victories? Let's just check on his page. Roglic, who's really come to play this third week. Primož Roglic, 1, 2, 3, 4 Vuelta a Españas and 1 Giro d'Italia. So he is a 5-time Grand Tour winner, including the Vuelta last year. So when people think that Roglic was washed, I had a lot of people in the comments of some Instagram posts this week, last week, saying that Roglic was finished. His socks, he's finished. It was only 9 months ago that he won the Vuelta. So Roglic at 35 years old, he's still got it. He has still got it. Purple Cow. Jaco need a climbing domestique for O'Connor. Time to give Mark O'Brien a buzz. Mark O'Brien, always inform Mark O'Brien. And Marco said himself before, if he could actually sprint and win a few more races, he would have been in the pro peloton today because, what a star Mark O'Brien is and an incredible athlete. He could do a job for a World Tour team. Today, that's how good Mark O'Brien is. But it's a good shout. Jaco certainly need a few things, don't they, as they head into 2026. I think they're going to have a lot of success with Luke Plapp if they send him to the right races. And with Ben O'Connor, again, if they send him to the right races, Jaco can have some success. But they're going to need someone for the sprints. No Groeneweg's going to hurt. Kel O'Brien, he's been okay in the classics, but he's an assistant. They just need the leader, don't they? They've got plenty of Indians, that not enough Chiefs, Jaco. So something to work on there. Roglic, no sock game. Is the new Aero. Well, he's got the socks on today, mate. So look at him on screen. He is wearing the Aero socks today. So he's come to play Roglic, and he looks $1 million, doesn't he, Roglic? 55.9 Ks to go. Ahrensman and Lipowitz are going backwards. They are losing time to the GC group, but at the same time, they're gaining time on the only Johannesson group. So it's kind of the worst place to be in for Lipowitz and Ahrensman. But Roglic, he's riding into the podium right now. He is riding into the podium, and Red Bull are going to be very, very happy to have 2 riders inside that top 5. So we'll do another check and see what the live general classification is. I'll bring this on the screen so you guys can see it as well. Tommy, our other co-host, is off. He just left us to have some dinner, and he was also feeling unwell. So the poor guy did an hour 45. Very good work there by him. But let's just see live GC. Here we go. I've clicked the wrong thing. So here is the live virtual standings. So, of course, the top 3 does not change, but Roglic is slowly gaining time. You can see this here. He's gaining a minute delta as it stands on Lipowitz. He's going ahead of Onley. Okay, so we've got the team radio spec there from SVS. So Jorgensen is going full gas on the descent, and Pogaćar is relaying that to his team. So really interesting. We can see here on the screen that Pogaćar is laying off the wheel of Vingegaard and Jorgensen. So they are putting the pressure. On Vingegaard, on Pogaćar here, and trying to test him out and see if he's got, any weaknesses on this descent. Jeez. Look at that. But, hey, there's not too much left of this descent to go. It does get pretty steep in the final 5Ks of the descent. You can kind of see that on the profile here on the screen. But the good thing about Pog is that he's got Roglic there. He's got Roglic there as well to close gaps. No one's going to want to let these guys get away. So he's not the only one there that would close a gap if it did get a bit hairy. Martinez leading Pogaćar on the mounts classification by 5 points. And you'd have to say that after this stage finishes, Pogaćar is probably going to go back into that lead of the jersey. So that jersey is really up for grabs as Jorgensen is going full gas. And we know with Jorgensen, he is not Pogaćar's biggest fan. There's been a lot of talk in the media by Visma this week, last week, about tactics, about strategies to upset Pogaćar, and Jorgensen has been in the thick of it, and he's really been quite vocal about all this. And the rumor going around that Jorgensen is on UAE's black book of never let him get away in a breakaway when the stage win is up for grabs, and do anything you can to close him down if he tries to go on the break, because of the way Jorgensen has acted towards Pogaćar. So I think Matteo would be very happy to hear that Pogaćar is feeling a bit uncomfortable with the pace setting on this descent. That would probably fuel Jorgensen's desire here to drill it. Ben O'Connor looking good too. Really happy to see Ben O'Connor in this group. Mandy with another stat. 1998 record still stands for Col de Madeleine. Jonas and Tadej were 2 minutes slower than Ulrich and Pantani. Yes. Ulrich and Pantani. Two interesting citizens, that's for sure, in the world of cycling. I have to say, Pantani, though, he definitely had a bit of panache with the goatee, with the bandana, a little bit of Andre Agassi about Pantani. Which, by the way, if you're a tennis fan, anyone, Andre Agassi's book, very, very interesting read. Somebody had a lot of inner demons, and he shared them all in the book. Is very, very interesting. 51.6 Ks to go. This is stage 18 of the Tour de France. We're watching along the Australian feed. If you are watching the SBS coverage or anywhere else, let us know where you're watching from as well in the comments. If you're from somewhere outside of Australia, if you're from the US, we had Colorado, we had an African country last time, some pretty wild countries. So if you are from somewhere outside of Australia, let us know. We had a tornado here in WA, so they say, just yesterday. We don't have many tornadoes, but people in the US, I'm sure, will be familiar with a few tornadoes, as they call Tadej as well. We've got the big battle. We had a fantastic duel. Col de la Madeleine, 19.3 Ks with 10 Ks to go. Visma took it up and challenged UAE. They dropped all of Pogaćar's teammates. Came down to Kuss, Vingegaard, and Pogaćar with 5 Ks to go on the top of the second climb. And Vingegaard's attack, it was good for about 10 seconds. And then he quickly sat down. And perhaps the attack was really just a bridge across to Jorgensen. I'm thinking about this in hindsight now. maybe the attack was really just a bridge to Jorgensen. So potentially that is the move. But in the end, Pogaćar was looking quite good at the top. We got watching from Thailand. Good to know. Thailand, beautiful place in the world. Good place to go for a holiday. Plenty of Australians go there. Jane Kelder Crabs watching from Denmark. Sure, rooting for your man Jonas Vingegaard. And Denmark it's a place that I'd love to go and visit one day. Charles Williams, Scotland, a big Only fan. I'm sure joining the Only movement. I've been enjoying Oscar Only. I thought he was just a puncher, maybe sort of steep stages. I didn't think he'd have this sort of GC capability, and perhaps he didn't think that either. But we've unearthed someone very, very special. Tom DJ Montague watching from the Philippines. Hello. Do you have the coverage on there in the Philippines? Be interested to hear if you've got it on there, or are you watching via VPN? Paul Jason Castro, 3:45 Hawaii time. Filipino living in Hawaii. Let's go Pogs. I love it. That is commitment. 3:45 a.m. That is incredible. I thought I was doing well, and it's 9:45 p.m. here in Western Australia. Well done, Hawaii. I'm not sure if Hawaii have had any Hawaiian riders in the professional peloton. That would be very, very interesting. That's unfortunate, Ton, but hey, at least you are catching up with us here on the Roadside Live. Ed, also from the Philippines. So good to have the Filipino crew here. The Philippines, beautiful place for riding your bike. I do know that. And there is a big race called Seven, a gravel race here in Western Australia where I'm from and Tommy is from. And it's one of the biggest gravel races in the world. And in fact, next year, it will host the World Championships. So we will have Mariana Vos, Vanderpool, Pidcock. They're all going to be here in Perth next year. But the organisers that set up this race, Seven, they are also planning to build a gravel race in the Philippines. So look out for that. If you follow Seven Gravel Race on social media, look it up. And that same company is actually organising and working on some cycling events in the Philippines. So, yeah, that's one for you Filipino fans there. But that whole Asian region, beautiful place to go. And I've spent quite a lot of time in there as we're back on the racing. On our screens, 48 kilometres to go in this stage. The group to Lipowitz. Lipowitz is 40 seconds from our GC group here. He's kind of just holding the same gap right now, and he must be descending quite quickly, Lipowitz, because he's actually taking time on the Only group, which is, that's a pretty good feat. So he's 2 minutes clear of the Only group. As we are almost at the base. I'll zoom, I'll look right closely. Oh, yeah, we are 7Ks from the valley section before they hit the Col de la Loze. But, we're seeing it's still Matteo Jorgensen pushing the pace here and really ramping up through the corners. Trying to put the pressure on Pogaćar, but Pogaćar knows how to handle his bike. And it's going to be a 1v1 battle between Vingegaard and Pogaćar on Col de la Loze. At what point, we don't know. Will Roglic get involved? We don't know. But this is where I think our stream ends, everyone. I do have to get to work, and I can't stay up for the remainder of the stage. I'm going to have to have a quick nap and then watch the final couple of kilometers. I'm going to set an alarm. So for now, legends, look out for our streams for the Tour de France Femmes, which is starting on Saturday, the women's tour, and also follow the podcast, Roadside Cycling Podcast, and of course on YouTube as well. But thanks for joining us, everyone, and all the new viewers as well. Very cool to have everyone here, and all the OGs, Troy, Mandy, Cameron, and everyone else in there as well. Richard as well. I know you're in there, Richard, somewhere. The OGs, thanks for joining us, everyone. And let's hope we get a really great battle between Pogaćar and Vingegaard for this final stage. And tell you what, tomorrow's stage is going to be just more of the same. So we'll catch you then.